PI holders, listen up. This is a huge, urgent warning. We're seeing absolutely massive outflows from the Pi Foundation, and this is creating a serious risk for the price of your beloved Pi. All right, Gold Rush fam, no time for pleasantries. We are seeing massive net outflows from Pi Foundation wallets, a clear signal that confidence might be declining from within the project itself. This is creating immense sell pressure, and if the bears break critical support at $0.47, we could be looking at a plummeting PI price, potentially retesting the all-time low of 40 cents. That's a serious downside risk, and you need to understand what's happening right now. Mark my words, this is a make-or-break moment for the people's coin. Welcome back to Gold Rush Crypto Daily. We're here to give you the most explosive, confident, and straight-talking crypto analysis on the planet. Today, we're tackling a topic that many of you in our community are watching closely. The recent price performance of Pi Network. We've got two critical articles to dissect, revealing why Pi is struggling and what key levels you absolutely need to monitor. This is going to be a high-energy, eye-opening session, so let's get after it. Let's kick things off with this incredibly insightful article from FX Street, titled Pi Network Price Forecast. Core team offloads 5.81 million PI tokens, risks further losses. This, my friends, is why we have to be real about what's happening. The article states, Pi Network, PI, ticks lower by nearly 2% at press time on Friday following a doji candle formed the previous day. As Pi Network bids in a sideways range under $0.50, social chatter grows concurrently with increased interest from investors. However, a net outflow from Pi Foundation wallets suggests that confidence is declining. Hold on a second. Net outflow from Pi Foundation wallets suggests confidence is declining. This is absolutely massive, and it's a huge red flag. We're not just talking about retail investors selling. We're talking about the core team moving tokens. Let's dive deeper into the data provided by PiScan. As cited in the article, PiScan data shows a sharp net outflow of 2.15 million PI tokens from the OKX exchange in the last 24 hours. The OKX net outflow outpaces the net inflows from all other exchanges, resulting in a total net outflow from centralized exchanges, CX, of 36,580 PI tokens. Now, typically, a net outflow from centralized exchanges indicates demand, right? People are taking their tokens off exchanges, presumably to hold them or use them. But here's the kicker, the crucial detail, the absolutely massive differentiator. However, the Pi Foundation 2 wallet records a net flow of minus 5.81 million Pi tokens, outpacing the total net outflow from CX wallet balances. Investors must remain cautious to avoid becoming exit liquidity to the outflows of the Pi Foundation team. Are you hearing this, Gold Rush fam? The Pi Foundation itself is offloading 5.81 million tokens, and this single outflow completely dwarfs the net outflow from all other centralized exchanges combined. This isn't retail buying. This is the project's own wallet moving a substantial amount of Pi. This means that while some retail investors might be accumulating on exchanges, the Foundation's selling pressure is absolutely overwhelming it. Mark my words, if the Foundation is offloading, it creates a massive overhang on the price, making it incredibly difficult for Pi to mount a sustainable recovery. You do not want to be exit liquidity for anyone, especially not the project team. The article also touches on social sentiment, which is an interesting juxtaposition. Pi Network's social dominance is on an uphill. Sentiments data shows Pi Network's social dominance at 0.39% so far this Friday, up from 0.18% on Monday. Amid the increasing social chatter this week, the total weighted sentiment at minus 0.327 reflects a bearish tilt. So more people are talking about Pi, but the sentiment is bearish. This tells us that even with increased chatter, the conversation is largely negative, fueled by price drops and concerns about these foundation movements. It's not the kind of positive social buzz that fuels a parabolic run. Now, let's connect this to the technicals and the broader market, as illuminated by our second article from Being Crypto, titled Pi Network Trades Sideways in Consolidation, Key Price Points to Watch Next. The article notes, Pi Network's price has remained resilient around the $0.47 mark over the past 4 days. Bullish traders are stepping in to prevent a break below this level and a potential revisit of its all-time low. Okay, so the $0.47 level is absolutely critical support. As you can see in this chart, this is the line in the sand, the last bastion of defense for the bulls right now. If that breaks, it's a waterfall scenario. PI price stalls between $0.47 and $0.50. Readings from the PI/USD one-day chart suggest a tug-of-war between bulls and bears since the beginning of the week. The token's price has remained mostly lackluster, trading within a narrow price range. This sideways action, or consolidation, as the article calls it, is a direct result of that intense tug-of-war. But with the foundation's selling pressure, the bears have a significant advantage. The resistance at $0.50 is acting as a brick wall, preventing any meaningful upward movement. PI's Flat Relative Strength Index (RSI) confirms this trend. The indicator has remained narrow over the past few days, signaling a period of low volatility and reduced price fluctuation. As of this writing, it is at 35.93. A flat RSI indicates the market lacks strong conviction in either direction. Look at this data here, folks. The RSI is flat and hovering near oversold territory, but without conviction. This isn't the setup for an absolutely massive bounce. It's a setup for continued weakness or a decisive break. Furthermore, the token's plummeting average true range, ATR, confirms the steady drop in market volatility. At press time, it was at 0.048, noting a 12% decline since Tuesday. A plummeting ATR means volatility is shrinking. This often precedes a sharp move, but it can be in either direction. Given the foundation outflows and technical resistance, the odds are stacked against the bulls right now. PI at make or break moment. Periods of low volatility often give way to sharp breakouts or breakdowns once momentum returns. If bearish sentiment resurfaces and the $0.47 support level fails, PI could slide to its all-time low of $0.40. This is the absolutely critical takeaway, Gold Rush fam. This isn't just speculation. This is what the data is screaming. If $0.47 fails, we are looking at a retest of 40 cents. That's a potential 15% drop from current levels, which is massive when you're talking about avoiding becoming exit liquidity. Let's quickly review the current market data for PI. The price is currently around $0.48, with a 24-hour trading volume that's not enough to absorb the foundation's selling. The market cap is hovering, but it's clearly under pressure. When we look at whale movements, the most significant whale we're tracking right now is actually the PI Foundation itself, and their net outflows are a major concern. This is completely different from what we want to see for a token to go parabolic. When institutions or project teams are selling, it creates an uphill battle for retail investors. Technical analysis, as we've discussed, is showing strong resistance and weak momentum. Compared to other major cryptocurrencies that are finding strength, PI is struggling due to these specific internal factors. My prediction, and mark my words, is that PI network is at an absolutely critical juncture. Unless we see a sudden and dramatic shift in the PI Foundation's outflow behavior, or an absolutely massive influx of utility-driven demand that can absorb these tokens, the path of least resistance for PI in the short term is downward. The $0.47 level is paramount. If it fails, we will see a retest of $0.40 and potentially even lower. While I remain a long-term believer in the concept of accessible crypto, the current market dynamics demand caution for PI holders. So, what do you do with this critical information, Gold Rush fam? First, smash that like button if you appreciate us giving you the raw, unfiltered truth, even when it's tough to hear. This kind of analysis is vital for your portfolio. Second, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Gold Rush Crypto Daily channel and turn on those notifications. We'll keep you updated on all market movements, especially critical ones like this. Share this video with every single PI holder you know. They need to be aware of these developments. And, as always, dive into our other content for more deep dives into the crypto world.